Hello Zoom users, in this video we're going to look at how the meeting itself works inside of Zoom. So I've scheduled here a Zoom meeting, and you can see though it doesn't start for 8 more minutes, I can actually click to start, and I'll show you a few of the options that are available here. This always comes up. You're going to go ahead and join with computer audio, although if you don't want to see this every time, you can check this little box. So I'm going to click to join with computer audio, and you can see down there across the bottom that I have people in my waiting room waiting to join my Zoom meeting. So if I click there to manage my participants, I've got quite the group waiting for me to enter the meeting. And in order to prevent Zoom bombing, you only want to admit people that you know. So maybe Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck here look like safe characters, but it's possible that I would not want to admit Darth Vader. And so if I click here to remove him, he will not be able to join our Zoom meeting. So I'm going to click there to remove and say OK, because once removed, he will not be able to use the link again. Now we have people here in our Zoom meeting. You'll notice that my microphone is on even though my camera is disabled, and also that we have cameras disabled for Donald and Mickey. If I click more, I have options for asking them to start their video. I can make them the host. I can allow them to record. If I need closed captioning done, I can actually assign one of them to type it up. I can rename them. If you have a student who's not complied with your requests for entering their full name, you can rename them. Or you can actually bump them back to the waiting room if necessary, or remove them completely. You'll notice here also at the bottom that I have options to mute or unmute all of them. And then if I click on more, I have a couple of more global commands I can issue to each participant. So whether or not I want to mute them on entry, to allow them to unmute themselves, to allow them to rename themselves, if I want that enter or exit chime that you heard earlier to play, if I want to put them in the waiting room here, or if I want to lock the meeting. Now this last one is the important one. Once everyone I'm expecting is here, in order to prevent future Zoom bombing and or to increase student safety, I could lock the meeting. And that way no one else can join. All right, so for right now, I'm going to close this window, and we're going to look at a couple of other options here inside the Zoom video. Over here in the bottom left, you can mute yourself at any time if you need to check on something. Obviously, you're working from home, so if one of your own family members needs you and you need to attend to that situation, you can mute yourself to maintain your professional decorum with your students. If you click on the up arrow right here, you have lots of options for selecting microphones, for picking a different speaker. You can test those things as well and or switch between them. And then right there next to that, you can start the video whenever you're ready. And the little up arrow under video also gives you some video settings. If at some point you realize you need to invite someone else, maybe you don't have a second adult yet and you want to prompt that person to come, you can click to invite and this little window appears. You can select that person from your list of contacts, or you can generate an email. If you have Outlook set as your default, when you click default email, an email will generate and you can quickly get that sent to the person who's missing. Again, down here across the bottom, you can go back into managing your participants. If you suddenly need everyone to be unmuted or you need to remute everyone, that's a quick and easy way to do it. It's also a great way to stop someone's video relatively quickly. Next on the list is to share screen. This is probably one of my favorite features inside of Zoom. If I click to share my screen, this little window appears and I've got a lot of options here. We played with Whiteboard today, but probably my favorite option was being able to screen mirror my iPad or phone. Any app that you have on your iPad or phone, you can display here in your Zoom meeting just like you do with screen mirroring on your Apple TV in your classroom. So you can pull up Notability, you can pull up an app, you can show them how something works from their iPad while still controlling the meeting here on your computer. So for right now, I'm going to share my screen so that I can show you a few things within that feature. So once you share your screen, and you can see here I'm just in the Zoom website, you have different options up here across the top. top. So instead of those options being across the bottom, they're now across the top. Most of them stay the same over here at the left, but you can always pause your sharing. And then here in the More option, you have a few new things that you didn't have in the other toolbar, including breakout rooms and again to invite additional participants. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing and go back to my other menus here. In the up arrow that's available there next to share screen, you can allow multiple participants to share, and you can also go in here to the advanced sharing options. This is great because you may have set your defaults so that no one else could share their screen, but at some point you may decide that you need your students to share for whatever reason. So if you switch this to all participants, then you get to decide who can start sharing when someone else is sharing as well. Although I frequently just leave that as only host. Next here we have recording and then closed captioning and breakout rooms before our last tool here, which is reactions. And at any time you can give applause or a thumbs up. It's a great way to check for understanding with your students in a quick manner that lets you know whether or not everyone's ready to move on. When your meeting is over, simply click here at the right to end your meeting and then click to end meeting for all. If you don't end meeting for all, your students can stay in your meeting without you. So you'll want to click to end meeting for all. As always, if you have questions or need further assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thanks and have a great day.